Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to the franchise hour.
These various tools
book to help me start the business.
And then I did specialize in
the last years, more than 5 years right now, we have figured out the systems and the processes to ensure that the franchising program will be a success.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the franchise hour. Today is February 24, 2022, and welcome to the season 6, episode 7. My name is Rudolf Kotik from Aki Franchise Consultancy, and today I have a very interesting guest, Sergeant Lloyd Luna, with me. He is one of probably the best known Filipino motivational speaker, and he's doing a lot of other stuff. So let's talk about. Welcome, Lloyd, to the franchise hour. I'm happy to have you as guest.
Thank you so much, Rudolf. I think this is one of the best decisions you've ever made so far in your life to have me in your show. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm happy about that. I was also thankful I was on your show almost 2 years ago. You had a show on, you founded actually the show, which was called TNC, and I was your guest there. And so what's going up with the Luna Group? What all are you doing right now?
Well, it's interesting. I have never imagined myself to be able to put up a holding corporation before I turned 40 in May. So it was a blessing that came after I left TNC, or the new channel. And when I left, I was able to find more time establishing businesses up until I realized, well, I really have to have a holding company because this way I can control other corporations that I was able to put up. So the Luna Group is actually a collection of brands that seek to inspire and motivate and teach people. We are committed to unlocking human potentials. So if you are not human, you are not part of my market.
Okay, so you have a kind of quite a big market, no? The 11 billions of humans are roaming around on this on this world.
I just made it clear because animals are not allowed.
Okay, no problem. So let's start. Let's talk about of the individual things what you're doing. Okay, you have the Public Speaker Institute.
Okay,
Tell
in
us something
February,
about that one.
in February 2021, I realized that probably I needed to share the things that I have learned as a professional public speaker for more than 15 years. But there was doubt because I thought if I were to do a workshop or a program about public speaking, probably they won't enroll because public speaking is you need to have a stage, you need to have a microphone, physical setup, etc. But I thought I should try. And I did. I started a program called the Certified Public Speaker Program. And voila, first batch, I had 26 students. And started from there. Month after month, I would have 15 to 20 students. I was able to produce 160 certified public speakers. So Public Speaking Institute is pretty much like that. I mean, it will teach you exactly how public speaking should be, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions about public speaking. Many people, business leaders, academicians, trainers, sometimes they just speak. And public speaking is not talking. Public speaking is something else. It's understanding the communications process and many stuff like that. So I am very happy that the Public Speaking Institute became a sort of a model for other businesses or institutes that I founded after that.
How long does it take if somebody signs up for your course?
Well, it's a total of 10 sessions, 2 hours per session. Well, it extends sometimes if the discussion are really meaty and substantial. Most of the time, they are meaty and substantial. But it would take them some 20 to 30 hours before they complete the certification program, and they cannot just pass the certification program. They have to present something, and they should pass the revalida. There's a final exam of actual presentation. It's like application of the theories that they have learned, and they have sort of an outside panelists to judge whether they made it or not.
Cool. You said you're doing for 15 years. You're public motivational speaker. How did you actually come into that? How did you start it actually?
Oh,
What's the story behind?
it's an interesting story. Do you really want me to tell the story?
Yeah, why not? We have time.
We have time. Okay. Okay. Now we have time. I was still a kid. This is a 40-year-old. This is a 40 years story, Rudolf. So if
Go
you
ahead.
may, yeah. I think StreamYard is allowing only 8 hours of continuing streams.
It's called the
Yeah.
franchise hour. So you have 1 hour time, okay? We still have 44 minutes, 54
Okay.
minutes, okay?
Okay. Let's do this fast. When I was still when I was still a kid, I didn't have any confidence in me. Sobrang mahiyain ako that I would hide behind closets. So just our visitors in the house won't be able to see me. When I was in my elementary, the idea of being called in a recitation in a class, it kills me. It continued up to until when I was in high school. Because why not? I mean, why are you not? Uh, why would you be scared speaking and presenting in front of a class, right? I think it's a valid. Everybody has a valid reason. I did have valid reason. I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to commit mistakes in front of people. Um, I just wanted a safe place, something that's protected and secured. So when I was in high school, I decided instead of being in front speaking to people, I would rather express myself and my insights and my thoughts through writing, because that way nobody would see me. And in that space, I was secured, I was protected, and basically it's a safe place for me. No one sees me when I write. They see my article, but they don't see me doing the article. So the immediate feedback of people not liking what I do is something that I don't see. Now it's different when you are doing public speaking, because right there after you just said a word or two, people can easily give you an immediate feedback, whether they like it or they don't. It continued when I took electronics and communications engineering in college, mathematics stuff, things like that. So there was really no way for me to be able to train myself speaking before the public. But then again, in 2003 or 2004, my boss, when I was working in the office of the president in Malacanang, my boss called me up and said, "Hey, Lloyd, I uh, I was going to be late to give a speech in my behalf." I said, "Seriously, I did not sign up for this, but when your job is on the line, you do everything you can." So the MC started to introduce me as an alternate speaker. I was sitting in front of the stage and blah 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 blah. And when my name was finally called, I stood up and I started walking. Now that walk was the longest walk that I have experienced in my life, as if I didn't want to arrive at the middle of the stage. But because I knew that if I was in the middle of the stage and I held the microphone, I knew the show would start. But it happened. After about 45 minutes, I was finished. Bumaba ako ng entablado, and gosh, I had to confront myself. It it was not a speech. I was so illogical. I was so inconsistent. I didn't know what I really said exactly. I didn't have any strategy for my speech. In other words, I did not succeed at that. So the confrontation was between me and myself. Will I do it again? If the answer is no, and then I can pretty much escape the call of being a public speaker and just move on with my life, not talking, in front of people. But if I say yes, then I will have to study and experience the pain time and again, experience the pain of learning the art and the science of public speaking, something that works. Because I didn't like the idea of just being in front of people talking and not communicating. And there's a big difference. So I did, and fast forward 15 years later, I would be able to travel many parts of the country and also around the world. Being the first Filipino to speak in the French and European Convention, I was able to speak in countries in Asia and Oceania and Europe. I was able to get invitations, at least 100 invitations per year. And oh boy, people would pay me at least 120,000 pesos per hour of speech. I thought this is what it came to be. That boy was so shy and without any confidence, went through a journey, and when he made that decision to study the craft and allowing himself to experience the pain of discipline of learning and mastering the craft, now here I am. So my story of being a public speaker is not everybody's story, but I thought the beginning is pretty much the same. Everyone starts by being shy without so much confidence until one makes that decision that he or she will commit his time, effort, and energy to learn it and eventually master it so that he can be or she can be the best person in the job.
You said, Lloyd, you said that companies are hire you to give the speeches and association, etc., etc. What are usually the topics you requested to talk about?
Well, in the initial years of my being a professional speaker, people would ask me to just motivate their people based on my life story from, being in the gutter to being a best-selling author and to becoming my own boss. It's more of a generic motivational stuff. But 3 years ago, I ventured into um, an archaeological research, because when I became the first Filipino to represent the country in the Global Speaker Summit, there was a discussion there that if I were to really be a professional speaker, I should be able to develop an original topic of my own. And being a motivational speaker, talking about my story is not original because, every motivational speaker has their own story as well. So when I came back, I decided I was going to research about leadership. And you and I know that we're familiar with authors and speakers who have been in this leadership space for a while, and I thought I cannot be another copycat of these international and local leadership speakers. I should be able to come up with my own material. And then I recalled one time that somebody asked me who was the leader that was in charge in building the rice terraces in the Philippines. And I realized that I cannot answer the question because there was none. In our learned history, we were never introduced to someone who was the leader at the time who asked the people to build the rice terraces. And so I started the journey, went there, immersed myself for a while, and then I had to find the answer. And then in the process of finding the answer, I realized that, there is, in fact, an original leadership philosophy and concept and management framework that our Filipino ancestors used more than 2,000 years ago. And those leadership concepts and philosophies and values and management frameworks and structures, they actually allowed our leaders at the time to build the rice terraces, because I thought this could never be built without any leadership process or methodology and stuff like that. So I started researching the process, and it turned out that the kind of leadership that our Filipino ancestors used at the time was called, and I coined, step back leadership.
When it comes to the word step back, you also wrote a book about
Yeah,
the
I wrote a
title.
I wrote a book about it. I think it was a bestseller because I bought a lot of them. that's, that's how you become a bestseller instantly. You put it not in the shelves, and then you buy it. The concept is about putting the people at the center of leadership. I don't know if you realize this, Rudolf, but if you have seen someone planting rice, um, if you don't, you can just Google it. There's a YouTube, they're planting rice, etc. What do you think people do? What do you think leaders do when they are planting rice? Are they stepping forward or stepping backward?
In planting rice, I think you step backward, right? You're going backwards.
Exactly. Good job, Rudolph. Good job.
I never tried it, you know. Just
Good
observing.
guess. Good guess. Good guess. For someone with your reputation, you made the right guess. It's a congratulations for you. Um, yes, we step backward, and I think leadership should be that. When we start to plant people, we step back and allow them to grow, nourish them. Because you cannot be a leader and plant something and then you step on them and you keep on moving forward. Basically, your plant will die. So this concept of planting and stepping back in order for people to grow and for them to become leaders themselves one day, that is precisely the step back concept that I'm introducing through my book, and that was a product of my research. It's about putting the people at the center of leadership. I it saddens me when I realize that many leaders in this generation, leadership has been about them and themselves, and me, myself, and I. That they are the figurehead of the entire organization, etc. Where in fact, the original concept of our Filipino ancestors, as far as leadership is concerned, is that it doesn't matter who leads. What matters is we have this product we produce, and this is the production of the entire community, not just of one person. So this is a brand new world when people had to compete against each other, and the concept of leadership has been, king of the hill thing kind of thing. You compete and you beat everybody else in the room. You become the best person in the room, and then you take the realm, and then you're the leader. That was not the concept of the Filipino ancestors at the time, based on my research. It was about community, it was about sustainability. It doesn't matter if I'm the leader. Of course, there is a sort of a structure, but it doesn't really matter. The question is, what's the interest of our community? What's the interest of our organization here? Regardless of my interest, as a leader, I should be able to know uh, what my people would like, and if I would like to lead them to that direction, definitely I will.
Time for me to read a step back because this is what I'm practicing right now in the company. I let
Yeah,
my I let
it,
my people I let my people more or less run autonomously Archie franchise consultancy right now.
right. I have
Correct.
it.
I'll get a copy when is it in National Bookstore available?
No, I stopped putting my books in the shelves during the
Okay.
pandemic.
So where
COVID
can
kind of
people
stuff.
buy your books? I know you wrote 17, I think, right?
I did write
So so
17.
so if any of my listeners wants to buy a book from you, where can they find one?
Well, they can just go to the website. I think it's lloydluna.com, and there's a store shop there that they can shop online.
So they can shop online. Okay. Tell me more about your books. What else you wrote?
I wrote a couple of books. I forgot the titles, but there
Let,
is
let,
a
let me
there
help
is
you. Transform or perish. What about that?
okay. Transform Paris. I wrote the book during the pandemic. It's about um, it's about transformation and how we can deal with this overwhelming transformation and start to appreciate change and lead during that challenging time. So I wrote it, and it was the story of the new channel. How I was able to find another thing that would keep me busy and productive during the lockdown, the hard lockdowns. I was able to use my 5 year experience on television, and then um, try to use the wisdom that I gathered over the years and started the live stream channel. Um, So that's basically the transformation book that I wrote back in 2020 and 2021. So the
Well,
pandemic didn't actually stop me from writing a book.
well, that's good. Life goes on, even though we have a pandemic, right?
Correct.
Uh, you also have another institute, what you call the New Skills Institute.
Oh yeah, the New Skills Institute came from the Public Speaking Institute because I wanted to do a certificate and other certification programs that is not public speaking, and I cannot use the company Public Speaking Institute to do other uh, certification program other than that for that purpose. So I said, oh, maybe the New Skills Institute would make the cut, and I did. And we had a program there, certified professional trainer and certified security officer. And then after a while, the certified security officer became another company under the Safety and Security Institute. So it became the third company I founded last year. And basically, they just evolved as other companies from the New Skills Institute.
Like the Sales Institute?
The Sales Institute is the same. I had a student graduated from the Public Speaking Institute, and he said, I probably may need some salespeople. Maybe we can design a program for them to take, and when they graduate, immediately they can get qualified to sell what we are trying to sell. So that eventually became the Sales Institute.
How did you come to your Philippine Air Force?
Oh,
Uh,
it's a very easy question, Rudolf. I think that's the easiest question you asked me today. I was bored. No, I was not. I was not bored. Of course, I was not. I think back in 2018, I gave a keynote speech during the convention of the Philippine Nurses Association, and the chief nurse of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, along with her team, was there and tried to invite me to become part of the reserve command. And I thought I didn't have the time, and truly, I didn't have any time until the pandemic. And it was August 22, 2020, when I realized, oh, I have the time. I have the time to train because I wasn't doing anything inside this little penthouse here in Makati, and I thought, well, I should try. And I didn't realize it was a serious military training until I was there. So during the first few hours, I thought, let me go back. But as I had it, I had to finish the course, and I did. And after 3 months, I became a sergeant of the Philippine Air Force Reserve Command. So it was a training that I also wanted to try because I love my country. When I learned the greatness of Filipino leaders, I thought there is something that I could learn from the military leadership, and that's where I think that's where I think I should go in order for me to learn, because military organization operates differently from any other organization. Um, in fact, I have learned that most, if not all, international organizations, the big times, they actually hire retired general and basically soldiers as their consultants, either in security or continuity or um, safety or strategic planning and things like that. So I thought I could probably I challenged myself to learn other kind of stuff as far as leadership is concerned, and I did learn a lot in the Air Force, and now I was able to use those learning as consultant to many other organizations, especially the startups. I wanted them to have sort of a short-term, long-term goal, the military way, to check and balance everything, and to be able to observe the chain of command and things like that. It's kind of it's complicated one, but once you get it, I think it is helpful to organization to have that, especially this in these trying times. We do not have any continuity plan. small businesses, medium businesses, they don't have any plan. So when the pandemic struck, they also got starstruck by the pandemic. They cannot move because there is no sustainability and continuity plan. It's just for them. It's just they cannot just do anything because it must be a setup that must be prepared prior to having this kind of crisis. So I did learn a lot from the Air Force in during my training, and it was not easy. It was my first time to be able to experience not just the physical pain but also the mental pain. It's military training it's mental, it's intellectual, there's also an emotional toll as you go through the training because it's not really easy. You don't have any license. They don't care if you are a motivational speaker for 15 years. My original plan was, if they try to punish me, I would say I'm an author. It didn't work. It didn't work. Push up. I'm an author. Make it 2 times.
You cannot talk your way out of it, no?
No, you cannot. And when you graduate, probably yes. But during the training, no.
Hmm.
I had a classmate, and it was her birthday. And instead of treating my classmate like it's birthday, wow, at 3 a.m. he was up and he was doing all the kind of physical exercises for 1 hour and a half, I guess, before we even get up. So it's kind of good thing it was not my birthday. I thought, oh yes. Otherwise, I would have been in that position.
Since you do a lot of public speaking and care as a Filipino for your countrymen, what are you thinking of going into politics?
Oh, my wife said I cannot because she knows me. There's a tendency for me to be a dictator sometimes. And we are in a democratic country. That probably don't work. Now, maybe later on, Rudolf, don't be too excited. I'm still collecting, a list of donors, and your name is in the list, by the way, on the list.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm still kind of saving for that. But yeah, who knows? I can consider, but not at this point, not at this time. I guess I still have a lot to work on as a private citizen. And one day when the calling is still there, why not? Maybe not when I am 50. I don't know. Uh, Nobody would know. I myself don't have any idea yet.
Correct.
But it's somewhere there. I am going to lie if I don't admit that it came to my mind. But as I said, it will change. It will make a lot. It will start a ripple effect changes in my life when I try politics.
For 2022, what's your main goals?
Well, the goal is to be 40 years old, so I have to reach 40 years old this year. May 12, I'll turn 40. First, the goal is to come up with an inventory that would say, what are the 40 greatest achievements that I have made in my life before I turn 40. So that's my assignment. But the goal is to really make sure that the holding company would work. Because I started reading the model about holding corporations and why it is important. And why it's important for me to put up different brands and different businesses away from each other. So the goal is really to continue watering and nurturing these organizations that I put up last year. The Public Speaking Institute, New Skills Institute, Safety and Security Institute, the Skills Institute. You have failed to also mention the House of Advisors. The House of Advisors is the replacement for my 15-year-old sole proprietor business called the Lloyd Luna Communications. I retired it and changed it to House of Advisors Incorporated. So yeah, just continue the process of growing these organizations, and hopefully improve the business model, the visibility as well, and as well as the marketing strategy for these brands, because it's not easy to put up one company, but if you put up five in less than a year, how you grow them is challenging for sure. But that's the goal for 2022. And also still continue to advise and consult to other SMEs, small businesses, particularly in the real estate space. Because when I made a decision to help small businesses instead of attending to huge corporations which are already established, it gave me some sort of a fulfillment, really, because they retain me on a monthly basis, for a year minimum, and I get to advise them and to tell them exactly what they can do, which I cannot do easily, when I'm advising huge and large corporations. So I'm taking care of 4 realty marketing companies at the moment, trying to set up their business to be a sustainable one. So yeah, I'm going to continue the consultancy business. I'm going to continue the institutes and the holding companies that I built in 2020. And again, my 40th birthday.
You were you were talking about real estate. So in my list, I see you also have the real estate institute for that purpose. I'm correct?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot because it's not yet registered in SEC, but it's already filed in the Intellectual Property Office. Yeah, we are going to offer a different kind of learning experience for people in the real estate business. Now, this is not to compete with the existing PRC accredited license, but this is a soft skill uh, training service provider for those who are in this industry. So the Real Estate Institute is another model that came from the Public Speaking Institute. So pretty much the same model and system. You just have to go to other spaces. And I don't go there if I don't have a partner who is an expert in that space. Definitely, I'm not doing that. So if I see that someone is there and he has or she has the ability and the capacity to help me grow this business, and then we collaborate and then we put up a company.
You also have a column in the newspaper.
Yes, it's interesting. While I was still in engineering department in PUP, I I was already writing for the Manila Times. In 2006, I had an opportunity to have my own column, but it was only 2 years, and there was a gap, 2008 up to 2018, when finally I was able to get back as a columnist of the Manila Times, writing for um, Campus Press specifically to do this motivational kind of stuff. So yeah, I help people find perspective. I help people. I challenge people to think differently, um, different from their thinking that got them there. I challenge them to explore other angles of their situation and give them some insights based on my experiences in business and in life.
All right. Lloyd, if any of our viewers want to join your public speaking institute or want to get you as a motivator speaker and get in touch with you, however, how can they contact you?
They contact you because now I am appointing you as my business manager, the RK, because I can see a lot of business coming in because of this interview. Um, Probably more when I appeared on CNN. No, they can just go to the lunagroup.net. because this is the only website that I can mention. I cannot mention all the websites. So I put every website, all information and of different subsidiaries in there. The lunagroup.net is the website, and you can connect with me via Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. Just look for my name, Lloyd Luna. I'm everywhere indeed.
That yes, I noticed that also. You're everywhere as well.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing actually. All right. Before we end our day today, I have to make a few announcements. Um, if you're interested to get a copy of my book all about franchising, please, it's free. Lloyd, we're giving away our books for free, okay?
Oh, oh.
It's a PDF format, so it's not printed. Before we sold them, and during the pandemic, we're giving it away for free. All right? So just message us, and we send you a free copy by email of the All About Franchising book. If you have a company and you want to expand it professionally, please get in touch with us, Aki Franchise Consultancy. We developed in the meantime hundreds, more than 800, almost 900 companies already in the Philippines. And we do everything what you need if you have a company to expand it through franchising. So from the structure, the manuals, the legal aspect, marketing aspect, everything you need. If you listen from us, if you listen to me from abroad the Philippines, from outside the Philippines, sorry, and you want to expand the business from there, you can get in touch with us through Franmundo. We are doing franchise developments in 35 countries. So get to franmundo.com. And if you have a company for distribution, we also develop distribution systems, so distribution structures, marketing materials, legal aspect, etc., etc. The company, therefore, we have GoFran. Get in touch with us. And FIFA is our association for all franchise-related aspects. So please get in touch with us. Best number to call is 89122946 or 89122973. And please read also our franchise magazine. The February issue is out right now, where our main feature are new franchisors which we developed in the year 2021. So this is the February issue of the franchising.ph magazine. Please read it, it's free. And if you want to attend my seminar all about franchising A to C, our next two are on March 3 at 3 p.m. and on April 4 at 4 p.m. On Zoom, you can get for free the link to that if you call our office, 89122946 and 89122973. If you want to learn more about, or if you want to view all the previous franchise hours, please go to our YouTube channel, Aki Franchise. And then next week we have as guest the franchise manager of Moose Coffee with us. So if you want to get a coffee franchise, please join us again next Thursday at 4 p.m. at the same channel. All right, Luna, thank you so much, Lloyd, for being my guest today. And hope to see you soon again. And if you have anything to come up with again, contact me and you'll be my guest again. Okay?
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Rudolf. Congratulations on the show and to all the stuff that you are doing. Amazing. Where you're getting your energy, by the way. But it doesn't matter.
Uh, just staying at home.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd. See you soon. And to my viewers, I'll see you again next Thursday. Take care.